Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be making samosa pockets. So I started by making the dough, which I used the all-purpose flour, some oil and salt. And I started by adding the flour onto the basin. Then I added a bit of salt, oil and water to make the dough. Yeah, so just follow along as I go. So I just added some salt. A bit of oil so that the dough can soften. You just make the dough like the regular chapati one, only that you only need a small dough. Yeah, so I just proceeded to mix everything with my hand until it formed a hard ball. So just add water as you go along. You add water, and also you check the consistencies that you don't add too much until it forms a ball, a firm ball. So at this point, I noted that I had added a bit of excess water, so I need to add more flour. Yeah, so I just kept kneading as you can see. Just continue kneading until you get the consistency that you want. When it's ready, you'll notice that the flour or the dough is no longer sticking to your hand. Yeah, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes and it should be ready. Yeah, so once I was pleased with the consistency, this is what I was going for. I just covered it and let it rest for 30 minutes. Yeah, so after uncovering it, I started by kneading by rolling the balls that I had divided and putting them aside. There were 4 in total. Yeah, so I just stretched them all together. Yeah, so just continue stretching and stretching them until they're all done. So you want to ensure that it is very thin, although not too thin, but it needs to be very thin, thinner than the regular chapati. That's why I kept rolling it and rolling it, because I wanted it to be quite thin so that the samosa can cook through properly. Yeah, so that's how they look, all of them. The first one was smaller because I realized that no, that's the last one that I'm rolling. The first one was a bit smaller than these ones, so I used it differently, as you'll see later how I used it. Yeah, so this was the last one that I was just rolling, and I just rolled it. Yeah, so now that I'm all done, I just proceeded to dry them a bit in the pan so that they can all dry up, not cook actually, to just dry them both sides. Then once you dry one, you make sure you cover it so that it doesn't dry and crack. Just make sure you cover it after drying it. Yeah, so that's how the entire batch looks. So although the third one was a bit bigger than the second one, but oh well. So what I think I could have done differently is that I could have cut them so that they all form a good shape, but I didn't do that in this case. So as I said, this one was a bit on the smaller side. So I just cut it in half instead of cutting it in four, like these ones. So these ones I just cut them in the middle, then I cut them again to form four pockets. Yeah, so that's how they look. So those are my pockets, are the ones that I'm going to use to make the samosa. Let me know how you make your samosa down below, and kindly subscribe to my channel so that we can all learn from each other. This was actually my first attempt. Yeah, so that I just proceeded to add a bit of flour to the dish so that I could make a glue to stick the samosas together. So in this point, although the lighting was not so great, I just finished making the glue, and I wanted to start. That is the minced meat that I used. In my previous video, I showed you how I make my minced meat for the samosa. I'll link it down below. So this is how I make the pockets, guys. You just roll it the first time, then the second time you make sure you add the glue so that the pocket can really stick together. Though sometimes I prefer to use an egg. I find that eggs really hold it very firmly together as opposed to maybe the flour, but it also works. So I used it in this case. So that is the first pocket that I made. Yeah, so you'll see how I make the samosa in the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you.